Welcome, what is up? Thank you for tuning back into the Chaos Slayer. Of course, I am Chris Chaos here with the 411 for Monday Night Raw on May the 20th, 2013. Now, as I'm sure a lot of you on Twitter who follow me know, I wasn't able to live tweet tonight. So I thought, instead of just letting it go like sometimes I do, I'm going to put down my instant reactions, except for I'm doing it on YouTube. So here we go. Ryback is just awful. It's just whatever. Summer Rae is going to be the next Stacy Keibler. By the way, she's already ahead of the game because she's already been trained to wrestle. I'm really glad Wade Barrett finally got new music. He needed it. I knew he'd been pushing for it, or that had been the rumor that I read. I kind of just wish they'd make Miz and Jericho a tag team. Whatever. The thing that Y2J did with Summer Rae, fucking brilliant. By the way, for anybody that's ever done that to somebody in real life, you know that it's fucking awesome. I've had the pleasure to do it once in my life. It'll probably never happen again, ever. But it was fucking great and epic when it happened. Vicky, still over. Comes out, hadn't been on the show really, or ever is. Comes out, still gets heat. No one cares about the app, or at least no one should, and that was the most worked app poll I've ever seen. Horrible. Did anybody notice that Titus O'Neil yelled at the crowd, "You think he's fucking tough?" and looked right at the camera when he said that? Yeah, that could get him into some hot water. Curtis Axel. Joe Henning is finally on TV, finally doing something with substance, and Heyman is going to give him the rub, and it's going to be epic. Mark my words, I've been pushing for this a long time to get him on TV, and I'm finally glad that he's on. Chaos approves, very much so. By the way, the Divas match, it was alright. Layla screwed up the second net breaker, and then AJ sold that kick from Layla like she killed her. Props, AJ. I love the new look from Zack Ryder. I've mentioned it on Twitter a couple times. Just want to say it publicly so you can hear it out of my mouth. I love the new look. I don't think it's going to matter though, because I think we're all under the assumption that he's going to be future endeavored very, very shortly. And with all those NXT cuts that happened last week, I'm surprised that it didn't drift into the main roster and have him become one of the categories of that. And JTG is probably going to be another one. The six-man tag is one of the best ones I've seen in a long time. All those six guys need to be commended for that. It was just a phenomenal match. Did anyone else notice that Brie Bella tweeted, and I quote, during Raw, and they scrolled it along the bottom of the screen? "My baby is a superstar at WWE Daniel Bryan XXOO Brie." Weird that they would do that, right? Well, they're kind of blowing the whole thing wide open with this whole Totally Divas thing, so I'm sure it's going to get a lot worse. Just when you thought kayfabe was safe, no, it's not. Speaking of Orton and Swagger, they had a really good match, although I will say Swagger needs to pay attention a little bit more, because he almost screwed up there at the end. He worked the whole match on Randy Orton's left leg and then put the Patriot lock on the right one there at the end. He fixed it, but still. I don't really, I'm kind of mixed about the way Raw ended. I like the way it ended. I didn't like the way the match ended, but I think that as creative, if they let Paul run with this for next week, for his promos, then it's just going to work fabulously to put Curtis Axel over. So I approve of that, and let's just hope that this continues, because it's fucking phenomenal. So yeah, that's all I got. Raw, I'm giving 8.5. I want to give it 9. I'll stick with 8.5. I think it was a very decent Raw out of 10. But, this is YouTube. We all have opinions. What is yours? I'm sure you're going to give them anyway. Follow me on Twitter at The Answer Chaos. Continue to give opinions. Let's talk. Why not? Anyway, that's all I've got. Remember, as always, Bucks Fama. And deuces, because chaos is spoken, which means chaos is out.